Hello everybody, this is Starman, and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. Well, last time you'll remember, we watched the opening of Chapter 2 and went through the sewers a bit. We are now heading off with Squire James in command, and eventually are going to make our way to the town of Romney, but as in Chapter 1, we have the freedom to explore the whole of the game world. Well, almost. And that is exactly what we are going to do. Last time, you also remember we spoke with the prince's tax collector Nivek, who suggested something interesting was going on near Sephanon, near a place with a woman named Nia, who we met back in Chapter 1, you might recall. But the intent here is that we are meant to go west, but we are instead going to go north and head back to Sarth. That is the place we're going to try and get to this time, but I forget what resistance we may face running north, although since we've killed Nago, we will not run into much in the way of random Morid Hell ambushes anymore. But I think we cleared out most of those last time anyway. And yeah, we got all the way to the Temple of Sung without any problems. We'll check in and see if there's anything new here. Fire was everywhere in the temple. In braziers and pits and censers, flames seemed to be the principal decoration in many of the chambers they were led through on the way to the High Priestess. Though by all rights Pandur was the proper god of fire, James mused that Sung could easily claim a right to it by the way her priests and priestesses adorned her temple. At last they were admitted to a large circular chamber ringed by flaming torches, and in which the High Priestess was kneeling in an altar of flawless white marble. Sung, for the record, is the goddess of healing, purity, and generally considered the best of the good gods. Rising, she turned to face her guests and dismissed the acolytes which brought them. "High Priestess," James said with a respectful bow, "we have been on the road for many days, and merely wish to express our homage to the goddess. We are in need of whatever luck we might find, whatever wisdom." A faint look of distress appeared in the woman's green eyes, as she said nothing, keeping her gaze fixed intently on James's face. "Have we given offense?" James said, "transgressed in some way?" Again the priestess said nothing, but touched a hand to her lips and then to her ear, giving the sign that she was mute. Understanding, James bowed again to her and begged forgiveness. "We shall trouble you no further." So yes, there was that. Well, heck, we may have an easy time of getting to Sarth. Yeah, here we are, Brother Mark's garden. "Discovered! I fear you will think me a farmer that only masquerades as being a monk rather than the other way around. How are you? Once more my young Squire Owyn forgets here he has feet, once my young Squire Owyn here forgets that he has feet, I believe we shall be well enough. If he has aches at his age, then imagine what complaints he shall have at mine. He'll have to be carried everywhere he goes. He practices to be the Emperor of Kesh, no doubt. So what question now will you pose of Sarth, traveling friends? Well, magic. Actually, I was hoping you might be able to dig up something on magic. A scroll, perhaps. There was a scroll I was cataloging just the other day that might be of interest to you. It was titled as Skyfire, I believe. I can go and dig it up for you for a reasonable finder's fee of 100 sovereigns. Reasonable enough, given what we can resell it for. And Nighthawks. Would you have anything upon the Abbey on the Guild of Death? As I recall from when I visited your Abbey years ago, your collection of books was quite extensive. I wanted to find out how it is that some of them become Black Slayers. No need to search the vaults. Many of them worship Kahuli, who will occasionally grant them a near-deathless state in exchange for total dedication to the god of revenge. It took us a long while to learn the spells to keep a Nighthawk from rising from death. There is a spell. We thought you had to hack the body up and burn it to bits. Yeah, traditionally the way of stopping a Nighthawk corpse from rising from the dead is to cut it to bits, cut out the heart, set it on fire. Typical zombie fighting stuff. An unpleasant solution and time-consuming. After the Great Rising was over and the Morid Hell went home, we were able to work with the priest of Lim's Krogma to create a spell to keep a Nighthawk from becoming a Black Slayer, or to keep a Black Slayer down once he was slain. If you like, you can probably dig the spell up in the vaults. Are you interested? There will be a 100 sovereign fee. Yeah. Considering I may be running into the Guild of Death soon, I would think it a wise investment. I'll be as quick as possible. Please wait here. So we got that. I don't think we have the inventory for everything. Yeah. We'll go ahead and put that scroll in there. Let's see. Skin of a Dragon, which we need to sell. Final Rest, which we need to learn. So, we have that. Well, give up a few poison arrows and maybe those will still be here in a bit. And I don't think there is an inn in Sarth proper, though it does occur to me now, we never looked at the library when we were here last time. So go ahead and go to the shop. Let's see, that was 119 for the Skyfire, so we made a tiny profit on that. We did, however, profit quite handsomely on that one. And yeah, all the magic scrolls we sold before are still here. And we are well prepared on rations at the moment, so let's go ahead and check out the library while we're here. Although I don't think we'll find anything too useful in this. The shelves were overburdened, massive books which all appeared to be older than anything James could imagine. Most of the works in the section appear to be concerned with theology or philosophy. Not as well versed in the history of gods as he would like, he reached for a less intimidating-looking volume and began to read. A ponderous, heavy volume which took a great deal of effort to support, the book was mediated with the darkness of mood which seemed to surround Lim's Kragma, the goddess of death. Surprisingly enough, the book suggested the bodies of the dead should be burned rather than buried, as the body was no longer of any importance after death. Of particular interest was a short passage near the end of the book. Once wounded, so that ye may touch the face of the goddess of death, thou shalt be suspended in a deathless state, until it is deemed either thou time hast come to enter the halls of the dead, or thou hast yet more to do amongst the world of the living. In such a condition ye shall find a great weakness in the slowness of healing, which may only be healed by a priest, or by rest most prolonged. So, yeah, that is a reminder, in case we hadn't figured this out already, which we had, that you get heavily wounded until you see a priest or get medical treatment, you will not be able to do things. So let's see, theology there. Warfare. Goref smiled, pleased to find something in the vaults which appealed to his interest. He thumbed through a book which apparently had something to do with combat techniques. Highly specific in nature, and dealt with a variety of tactics for dealing with an enemy when they resorted to using various ballistic or magical tactics. While he could understand most of the ideas involved, he realized it would take several months of practice for him to mastering the more advanced techniques. In the end, the most practical information ended up being in the first few lines of the book. If it may be at all arranged, it's best to confront your enemy on a battleground of your choosing in such a way that you have the element of surprise and command any set pieces which might mean the turning of the battle. If, however, your opponent has command of magical or ballistic means, it is always a better strategy him to close range, so as to deny him the ability to load his weapons without obstruction. Very much true. If you can get close to a sniper or a spellcaster, they can't do what they do. Let's see, finance. Owyn scowled. The books read before him all concerned theories of finance, a subject which his father had long ago exhaustively bored him with. While he thought he would never again be interested in the subject, he found himself reaching for one of the volumes. A pitiful remnant of what was once a wonderfully scribed book, numerous pages appeared to have been ripped out whole, leaving only the ragged remains at the edges. Disheartened, James quickly glanced at what was now the top page before closing and returning it to the shelf. Many make the mistake of believing that a general goods store will offer the best prices on jewels. In practice, it is by far better to sell to a store which already has emeralds, diamonds, and rubies on display. And finally, medicine. Healer's journals littered the shelves. By far the most extensive collection within Sarth's impressive stacks of books, James felt a little intimidated. Unsure what titles or names would be the most use to him, he picked a book at random and began to read. The newest volume on the shelf, on which it was located, the book concerned itself solely with the creation or administration of new anti-venom created by a Father Nathan of Krondor. That would be the prince's religious advisor. Following the unfortunate events which transpired shortly following the ascension of Rufa Condor into the princedom of Krondor. Unfortunately, since that time, border barons have seen a proliferation in the use of this poison, now harvested in mass doses on the shores of Moraline and elsewhere within the Northlands. If there may be said to be any good in this, it is that new strains of silverthorn now used are significantly less harmful than those used to wound Prince Anita 10 years ago, although many scholars have been speculating that perhaps only the nutrients in the soil near the Black Lake give the plant its lethality. The true course of the shift is unknown. Fortunately, in the case of the princess, I was able to formulate a silverform antivenom, which may be taken internally to neutralize the poison. And it may be that I can make it into a treatment that can be smeared on armor to neutralize the effects of any silverform poison blade, which comes in contact with it. So, yes. And magic. The books concern magic. Snatching the closest volume at hand, Owyn began scanning the pages, hoping to find a gramarye of spells from which he could learn. Flipping pages, he was nearly oblivious of the priest who marched down the aisle and snatched the volume from his hand, politely replacing it from whence it had come. "These books are restricted," the priest said sternly. "Long ago we learned the wisdom of making sure an initiate has some training before embarking on reading our magical themas." "I've had some training," Owyn began, but was silenced. "You are more than welcome to visit our other collections, but this is restricted," the priest said, his tone indicating that he would tolerate no argument. "I am sorry." Okay, well, nothing expressly useful, but I don't think that changed our stats at all. No, it did not, and I don't know why Owyn is studying lockpicking, but there we go. Right, so onward and northward. And ambush! Oh, the spellcaster has blinded Owyn. Smart move. Well, hell, quite a bit of loot on this fellow. And we can always use more lockpicks with James around. And is that corpse of the poison ration still here? Yes, it is. And okay, group of 5 enemies. We'll see if we can use them to distract from Owyn a bit. Looks like we did. Those are pretty weak crossbows from looking, but they're only doing 2 or 3 points of damage each shot. Well, that was an interesting combat, but hardly a challenging one. Killian root oil. I think we're coming up on Questor's view in a moment. We're fairly close to it, I think. Yep. And I think I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of these arrows because, honestly, the archery stuff, we haven't been doing much of it. As you've noticed, it's usually better to try and close in combat than try and shoot from a distance. And I am going to buy a set of this armor for reasons that will become apparent in a bit, but I'm going to go ahead and clear that out, and yeah. I'll have Owyn be the one to haggle for it. So much for haggling. And there is a reason why I'm buying this set of Dwarven armor, but we will get to that in a bit. Well, now I need a whetstone for him. And might as well sell the icer. And, oh, well, you know what? Even though we're hardly going to use them. Oh, that's right. Okay. Okay, I am striking out on the bargaining here, but you know what? If I'm going to have arrows, I'm going to have the best ones possible. And, well, poison elven shafts would be the best one possible, but let's not go crazy with the expenses here. Alright, well, that freed up some inventory space. And I wonder if we can talk to Mr. We cannot talk to Mr. Questor about getting some more training, unfortunately. But we can swing by the inn and make some fast cash. And yeah, most of the villages we visited won't have anything for us again the second time we come to them. But it's still worth checking, because occasionally you will find things in later chapters that you didn't have before. Which is part of the reason why we're heading back this way. Because there is in fact something in a different part of the game that we will find by traveling back up this way, and the assassin was a mercenary. James could tell by the hardened set of the Black Slayer's face that he hunted them down to avenge the wrong done to him, hadn't chased him, collected debt. He had come because the coin was of the right color and the right amount, and for that price, win or lose, he would fight them to the death. Which is odd, because Black Slayers are not mercenaries. They are sworn to avenge a certain task. But this does finally give me a chance to use this spell. So yeah, Black Slayers only dangerous in groups if you can't finish them off quickly. Because then you have them keep coming back with full health. And have you seen my gold? Asked the man at the door. I'm afraid we haven't, asked James. Aren't you Chanty the fisherman? Yes, but I didn't mean to do it, he replied wildly. I was looking for my gold. I didn't know it was still alive. He shivered involuntarily. James looked at Gorath and continued playing along, but he wasn't sure what the man was talking about. But you did do it. Why don't you tell us about it? Shaking harder, Chanty said, It was a black thing. I dug, it grabbed my arm, but I pulled away, but it wouldn't let go, and it clawed its way out, and it talked to me. The demon thing spoke, and it thanked me for letting it go. He stopped nearly in tears. It even gave me a reward. It gave me the passwords for a couple of local fairy chests. Said there were eyes and ring. Unable to control his fear any longer, he retreated into his house, slamming the door. Well, that was worrying, and yet it looks like there's a grave here. Warning, the thing beneath the stone is trapped by dirt, not by death. Stay away. James looked at the mound of dirt. He bent down and examined it more closely, then stood a disgusted look on his face. Someone has clawed this grave open. They didn't use tools. It appears they dug it open with their bare hands. A wild animal, perhaps. Hungry wolves have been known to dig at shallow graves if the scent is strong enough. No, I'm afraid not. There's some dried blood in the dirt, and I found some human fingernails, no doubt lost as someone dug frantically at the hard ground. Ew, and ew, and ew, and yeah. But apparently there are some chests close by that I missed. Let's blind that guy. Might as well rest everybody up. Alright, looks like everybody's rested, and... hardly we're checking the bodies except for the gold at this point. Crap. Well, another thing about we never check behind that mountain. Ah. Well, something behind that one. I think we got this one already. That one's the day and night, yeah. And typically you won't find anything new in these. But you never know. And yeah, just the torch. Alright, well, we're back in Zun. Almost back to where we started the game, in fact. And won't bother stopping the shop here, because now they just have the place that sells the healing. But we will keep going a bit further. And aha! Caught them off guard. You have James charging in the middle of them, give them all an easy target. We'll give James a fair bit of protection. That one fellow has not tried moving since we tried hitting him. Yeah, well. Well, he was getting a crossbow ready. That's adorable. Oh, yeah, I guess I should do something about the one that's trying to run. Change places! Wow, a brand new whetstone. If only I hadn't just bought a brand new one. Alright, well, here we have the path to the Macmadorn Cadal, that Dwarven Mine, and yes, we do have a reason for coming back here. Let's see if we run into the head dwarf. Yeah, sounds like we will. Sparks rocketed down the corridor, slamming Owyn flat against the mineshaft wall. James narrowly leapt for cover, himself as something skid along the rocky floor. Abruptly, the glowing cone of fire winked out of existence as it climbed an unseen wall. After several long heartbeats, the seigneur peeled himself away from the wall just in time to meet the gaze of a short tree stump of a man. I hope you've not come for a passage to Elvandar. We've gained some ground and cleared a new section about 3 miles or so, but we've a long way to go. After the Bracknor collapse of passages, we've been a wee bit busy. Any idea how long a delay we should expect? Even with 100 dwarves flaying rock until they bash their burns in, it's taking some while. Rock's festooned like a cheese line, and we have to take it slow, else a whole lot of it will come down on our heads, and the whole of it gone to waste. We may get some help, though. We've been tapping messages back and forth through the rock, and our cousins on the other side say that Aglarana of the Elves may be able to lend a hand. Well, hey, ask about Sarth while we're here. I'm surprised we haven't seen many cases of quaking fever up this way. They're having problems with it down in the Abbey of Bishop of Sarth. If you're going to talk to Borgen, call it by its right name, not the Keshienbark. Sarth was Dwarven? Not the abbey itself, no, but the caverns beneath. It was the greatest emerald mine the dwarves ever delved, the Macborgadine Dock. It ran for miles in every direction, and part of its chambers ran right underneath where the abbey now stands. I understand the silly priests have staffed the tunnels and rafters of books. We'd still own the caverns now, but we made an arrangement with Mika Jur Backpatch back when he moved into that keep that had been built over one of the entrances. And Mijakar still owns the mine? Aye, if corpses can be said to own anything. He's been dead a long while, even as dwarves reckon time. The mines are the property of the brothers of Ishap, though I doubt they know how to get to the vaults into the main passages of the mine. That would be a hint as to something we're going to need to do in a later chapter. But yes, we are going to explore this whole new section of the Macmadorn Cadal that has been opened up, and we will do that next time. We'll see you then.